Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by the channel. Just a quick introduction. No machining in this. If you're looking for machining, click off. But I have some Seagull stories here, and I think you'll find them of interest, therefore your enjoyment, and to let you know that if you get lucky and look, you'll find things. So on with the show, and as always, like, share, subscribe, and hit the button. That's what everybody tells you to do, so I'm telling you also. Thanks for stopping by. So my buddy was looking for a clausing lathe, and the other day on Craigslist, I found a clausing 1500, and I didn't take any photos of the lathe. I can't believe it. I had a sinus infection, so I wasn't doing well, but I went up and looked at the lathe, and the seller wanted $1,500 for this clausing. Called my buddy and said, yeah, it's what you want, and ended up purchasing it for him, and then met him when he went to move the lathe. And again, I didn't even take any photos of that. The day I went to move the lathe, well, before we go there, off of Vintage Machinery, here's a couple of cut sheets of the lathe. Back from that, it's a hell of a machine, 7.5 horse, 15-inch swing. And then here's a photo of the tooling. That is BXA Aloris, all Aloris BXA tooling. Just alone, that's worth $700, if not even more. And the whole purchase was $1,500. So now to complete with the story here. As you see, there's a Gerstner here in front of you. So, you know, the Seagull that I am, I got there, and the guy's closing his shop and moving away. And I said, what are you selling? And so he brought me around the corner there, and he said, well, I've got this Gerstner. He goes, how about $100? And I said, yeah, okay. The front sticks a little bit here, which can be fixed. You can see the darkness here where this lid was always open. It kind of interesting. It had a book here in the drawer, and this book is 1940. I can't remember real quick. 1944, 12th edition. Kind of paged through it, see if there's any notes or anything, but you can see it basically fell apart in there. Pretty cool. That might date the box. Of course, down below the lower drawer here is a serial number, but Gerstner wants $50 to do a research on age and stuff, and hey, I know it's an older box, so that's good enough. Interesting, I do have a machinery handbook that's actually older than that one. This is the 11th edition, and this one is really in great shape, and it's a 1942 11th edition. So this will probably stay with the box once I'm done doing some work to it. I'm going to do basically a cleaning and new felt for it. I don't know that I'm going to get into taking the hardware off and polishing the hardware and everything. I don't know that I'm into that. If you can see, I think it's in the photo here. I've basically looked at cleaning right here. This is interesting. Hang on. I wanted to reposition the camera. You can see how dirty this is, and I basically have cleaned here and here. I did order the Gerstner finish restorer and preserver and used that over here. And then one of my favorite products that I always try is the turtle wax label and sticker remover. It really works good, and I had used that over here. trying to make sure if I'm taking off finish or not. All the drawers basically work great. There's loose felt in it. Most of the drawers don't have any felt in it. They're all just metal. Everything's really clean, really in great shape. Everything's here. My buddy Tom Lipton offered red Gerstner felt for it. He said he had a roll. So I'll probably, excuse me, go ahead and go to red felt on this guy. Other than that, I like this this right here, probably a cigarette burn. But so why I'm there, says, well, what else do you have? And let me stop the camera for a second. I'm going to move. Well, there's two things here. You can see there it says digit dial caliper Mitutoyo. I think I purchased that before I purchased this. I bought these two as a package. I paid $100 for the Gerstner, and this is a Tessa 1-inch thread mic. Has all the anvils. So this and this unit here, I packaged them together, and it was $250. Let me open up that. This one was one of those things, putting it in the package made sense. Am I going to use it someday? I don't know. The tool nut that I am. Come on, get out of that box. Okay, well, there it is. It's a 18-inch caliper, Mitutoyo caliper. You can go inside or outside these. This is basically a 1/2 inch, and it's 10th reading, 18 inches, and the thing is cherry, brand new. So there you go. I went up to help my buddy on a Seagull run for him, and I Seagulled some stuff for myself also. Good purchases, and the Gerstner, I'd like to keep it. I don't know that I've got the place to put it, but for right now, you'll see some progress over the next weeks. It's not top priority for me to work on right now, but I feel bored and want to play and clean. I'll be out here doing that. Thanks for watching this. So I just showed you a short video of another Seagull run. You first saw photos of 5 grinders. They were $50 each. And I went over to purchase, not to buy a grinder, but to buy the cast iron bases. At $50, that's a heck of a buy. Well, when I got there, any of the cast iron bases that I wanted were already sold. I didn't want any of the grinders. Of course, what else you're selling? What else you got? So in there you saw the light, the machine light. I picked that up. I picked up all those buffing wheels and all the chemicals, the dicam, all that. A whopping $20. And so in that, walked around. The shop had been a 100-year-old shop. and they had finally shut down. They had an auction, which I didn't know about. They had sold everything off. All the machinery was gone except those grinders. Actually, on the grinders, the guy bought them, passed away. They still had them. That's why they were selling them. But there was some other stuff went around. So I walk out to this garbage can in the middle of the shop, and one of the guys that worked for the company for 40 years, and we started rooting around in the can, and we pull these guys out. And this one, it says Brown and Sharp, and they ran like a screw machine that had 8 different tooling positions on it. I don't know that this came from it. He had told me that he had put this angle block on here. So this head rotates and swivels in two directions. You can use it that way. And then this guy is supposed to actually plug into here, and then you can rotate and use it. It's got a bearing spin. Unfortunately, as we were looking at it, we guessed that it was a Morse taper 3. Well, it's not a 2 and it's not a 3. So it's probably a Brown and Sharp taper for their tooling. And so I'm going to do some work on that. But this would work great on the surface grinder for setting up, either using this angle block that he had bolted onto there, which will unbolt, or actually making some tooling for this guy. So these were free. Took them out of the can. There was actually more stuff in there, and you know, at some point you gotta quit. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. One last item while I'm filming. I'm pretty sure I showed you this plate that I had in my horizontal bandsaw. And I was cutting the copper jaws for my vise. Well, there's sometimes I need something smaller, so I actually made one more, and this one is just a 4-inch by 8-inch, where I can clamp down small pieces on it. And you know, this guy comes forward. Come on. That's the quick release. It's not so quick right now when you're filming. I don't know why it's not dropping in the hole there. But anyway, it pops out of the way. How about that? But I have it so I can move it back on any setting dependent upon the depth of the part. So it's a nice addition to the bandsaw. Thought I would share that with you guys.